Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kids TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And hit that post notification. Anytime I bring you this heat, this action, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive it. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this morning's video, if you will. You know, it's been a whole lot of not necessarily speculation about Jay Williams, Let's Live Life. Actually, it was a whole lot of speculation until he came out and went live, from the county jail, and we heard it straight out of the horse's mouth. I just want to enlighten you all on Jay Williams' bond hearing. No, I wasn't there. No, I don't personally know him. But what I do know is the system. That's one thing that, unfortunately, I know. Not bragging. For you all that don't know, my situation, my story, I've done over 10 years, in prison. So I definitely know how that works. So I'm going to paint a picture for you all. And hopefully you can follow along. You can ride with me, if you will. And just get a better understanding as far as what he's going through and the uphill climb, if you will, that he's facing. Now, there's a lot of you all that watch, and you already know you're going to be able to follow me, word for word, verbatim and what have you. But nevertheless, Jay Williams is seeking a bond, not a bond reduction, but a bond. Now, what happens is, his lawyer is going to file a motion and, they basically just put him on the court docket. And once they go into court, his lawyer presents all the reasons why his client, Mr. Jay Williams, should be allowed to be released on a bond. He's going to go in, his lawyer, and I'm just saying it could be she, it's just figuratively speaking. So no offense to anyone. You know what I mean? So his attorney, he or she, they're going to go in and say, well, Your Honor, Mr. Williams, he's married. He's a family man. He operates his own business. He employs X amount of, employees. He's a pillar in the community. He has a successful YouTube channel that he runs, in which he mentors the youth. Anyone else that's, thinking about going down the wrong road, he kind of talks them off the ledge. He hasn't been in trouble. He does have a criminal history, Your Honor. We will acknowledge that. However, he's been, an active tax-paying citizen for the last 9 years, I believe. Hasn't had any trouble, minus a couple, traffic infractions. So we're requesting a bond. He does have a small child. Again, he is married. We're requesting a respectable bond, a manageable bond, rather, that Mr. Williams can handle. This is his hometown, whatever city they're in Virginia. He has family here. He has friends here. We have no reason to, Mr. Williams has given the court no reason to, think that he would not show up to court. So we're expecting a bond, or requesting a bond. You better not say we're expecting a bond to the judge. We're humbly requesting a bond. The judge is going to sit there. He's going to, look over all his notes and things of that nature, pre-trial and everything like that. Pre-trial is just, you go to pre-trial and you tell them where you live at, and they verify your work and your address, and if you're married, and you get a certain amount of points. And if you have your points are high enough, then you're a good candidate to be released. Now, on the flip side, the prosecution, they're going to speak their piece. Yeah, they're going to speak their piece. Your Honor, we're requesting no bail, remand on Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams is a violent offender. Mr. Williams has a violent past. They're going to bring up his violent charges. Then they're going to bring up the fact that, excuse me, y'all. Sorry about that. No editing. It's live. I give it to you raw, man. You know what I mean? Raw and live and uncut. Pause. Double pause. Matter of fact, I shouldn't even just said that. But nevertheless, prosecution, oh man, they gonna definitely hate. You know, Yana, he's violent, as I mentioned, and the individual who filed the charges, because see, the person that said that he had a gun, allegedly, the police only came after him because of what that individual said. So that individual had to say something to make them say, you know what? We're going to go get him. Because you can't just go down there and just say anything. I mean, you can, especially in the Commonwealth state, but it has to make sense. And they have to believe that individual. So they're going to say, this individual, he said that Mr. Williams brandished the firearm, threatened them, cocked it. They heard a clicking noise. We fear that if Mr. Williams is released, he'll seek retaliation, against this individual because of his violent past. Not to mention, when the police attempted to pull Mr. Williams over, he took him on a high-speed chase in excess of 120 miles, where someone else could have been killed. See, in Kentucky, they would have hit him with wanton endangerment. So he dodged the charge. Well, I'm not going to say he dodged the charge, but in Kentucky, when you take the police on a high-speed chase, so now it's fleeing and evading, but also it's wanton endangerment because you were going so fast, you know what I mean? You put other people's lives in danger. So that's what they would have charged him with. But nevertheless, he's not in Kentucky. And they're going to say, this guy put other people's lives in danger. Mr. Williams, we feel that he's a flight risk. Mr. Williams has, we understand that he does have a YouTube page and he has a whole lot of subscribers that support Mr. Williams. And they've even sent Mr. Williams an offer to send Mr. Williams money. So we're quite sure that if Mr. Williams wanted to flee the country, he has plenty of people that would help him out. See, they're going to flip it and reverse it on him. You see what I'm saying? They're going to flip it. In addition, the video that Mr. Williams put out a couple days ago where he was very, very angry, combative, they're subject to show that to the judge in court. Yana, look at his demeanor. He's not accepting any accountability. He's saying that he did nothing wrong. He keeps saying that he's in jail. He's telling people, hey, run that. I need y'all to send this money. So they're going to show all of that in court. And the judge is going to be looking at that, and the judge a lot of times is going to side with the prosecutor anyway. Unless you got a heck of a lawyer or that lawyer has a relationship with the judge and, something that, to that effect. A lot of times the judge is going to side with the prosecution. So with all of that being said, the judge is, sometimes they make the decision that day. They make their decision that day. Sometimes they may need to take a day or two, a week. However long they choose, they're the judge. However long they choose to take. But the prosecution is definitely going to paint a picture. They're going to paint a picture that this man is a danger to society. A danger to society. Allegedly, and another thing they're going to say is this. The reason that Mr. Williams ran is because he was able to dispose of the gun. He had the gun. He eluded the police. He was going within, 120 miles an hour. He threw the gun out the window somewhere, and we haven't been able to recover it. Guarantee you they're going to say that. All this is alleged. I don't think he did none of this. You know what I mean? But this is what the prosecution is going to say when he goes to court. He's going to have his family there. He's going to have friends there to support him. And all that stuff is going to look good. It's going to look good. But Jay never should have did that interview from jail, man. He never should have did that interview from jail. It's best to just remain silent. If you're going to ask your followers, or not your followers, but your subscribers for help financially, don't do it to where the prosecution can see it. You know what I mean? Figure out another way of I wouldn't even ask him. Mr. Williams, Jay, he's in a situation. All help is appreciated. This is how you're able to contribute to the cause. And just leave it at that. But just jumping on it, run that, man. I need y'all to send that, man. That just wasn't the proper way of going about doing things, because a lot of people is looking at Jay sideways. Because you say that you have a successful construction company in which you were already making six figures a year prior to your YouTube channel. You have close to 400,000 subscribers, if not 400,000. It got to be 40, 50,000 a month. On top of your construction, on top of if you're selling merchandise, on top of if you have a membership, to where you certain members pay a certain amount of money per month. So, was it called a Patreon, I believe? So, all the money that was coming in, people are starting to wonder, was it just alcohol? Alcohol costs a little bit of money, but not that much money. All the money that you have coming in, you should have plenty of money saved up. Plenty of money saved up. So now people are starting to really wonder and guess. Not me. Again, I'm just going through what, just reading the comments and putting two and two together. And some people are just blatantly saying it. My whole thing about it is this, man. When you are a convicted felon, you can never get too comfortable. Never. You can never say, you know what, I've been working hard, man. I've been staying out of trouble. I'm going to reward myself. No, they teach you that in substance abuse class. No, you never reward yourself. You know what I mean? Because you're telling yourself, well, you know what? It's okay for me to have this drink. It's okay for me to smoke this joint. It's okay for me to take this line just once. I ain't done it in years. Nah, man, you keep your head. You continue to grind, man. You know what I'm saying? You continue to work. You continue to grind and continue to do the things that got you there. Because being a convicted felon, man, you don't have no room for error. None. Because when you get caught up, guess what? The first thing they're going to do is use your past against you. Then they have sentence enhancements. So a sentence enhancement, and I'm going to give you a quick overview of a sentence enhancement. Say for the fleeing and evading, the eluding the police. Okay, in Kentucky, I'm going to use Kentucky. I don't know what it is in Virginia. But again, we're a Commonwealth state. So, in Kentucky, eluding the police in a car, you facing 1 to 5 years. 9 times out of 10, they're going to just give you a year, tell you cop out. You know what I'm saying? Plead out. They give you a year. Boom, you're done. But that's for a person that doesn't have a past. Say you have one prior, and that prior is within that 5-year window. So you have to go 5 years out of the system in order to avoid the enhanced sentence. So if you get out of prison and you're not on parole or anything, 5 years from the day you get out, you're not eligible to be hit with the enhanced sentence. But if you get out of prison, and let's just say you do 2 years of parole, well, you have to go 5 years from the day you get off parole. It's 5 years out of the system. Hopefully you all follow me. So in a situation, if you will, if you're in Kentucky, you catch a fleeing and evading, you run from the police. Okay, but you just got out 4.5 years ago. Well, that 1 to 5 that you facing turns into 5 to 10. And that's just if you just have one prior. Say you have 2 priors. Now you're facing 10 to 20. Because you got a double enhancement on your sentence. To where originally you only facing 1 to 5. But because you have 2 priors, now you're facing 10 to 20. So what ends up happening? You end up having to take a plea deal for 10 years. So you're getting double max of what the time even originally carries. Now, if you end up getting you a nice lawyer and you may get the sentence enhancement dropped, if you got 10, 15,000, 20,000 to get a lawyer, which most people don't have, you may be able to get it dropped, and instead of getting 10 years, a lawyer might be able to get you 6, 7. You know what I'm saying? You do a year and a half to the parole board, and then, you have a chance of getting out. But that's in Kentucky. In Virginia, I don't know. I know that the first time up, if it's your first time, I think you do 25% of your time. If it's your second time, you do, a third of your time. And if it's your third time, you do like half your time. It's something like that. Jay Williams, I'm going to say this real briefly. Jay Williams, I'm praying for him, man. I'm praying for his family. Hopefully them feds don't come in and pick his case up. And I'm sure that he's praying for that too. He does not want the feds to pick this case up. Because with his history and their sentencing guidelines and mandatory minimums, all the letters in the world ain't going to help him, man. So hopefully he can go on and get this over with on a state level. The gun get dismissed since he didn't have a gun. And all these things that, they're saying are alleged. Anything that I said and mentioned about a gun, all this was just allegedly, hypothetically, if he had have had one, which I know he didn't. You know what I mean? Don't want them feds involved, man. Don't want them feds involved at all. And like I said, I'm praying for him, man. We all fall short. We all make mistakes. But when you're a felon, man, you got to walk lightly. And you got to continue to walk lightly for the rest of yours. Because it's just a lot of things as felons, man. You just not normal in society. You just not. You can change your whole life. You can't vote. Well, some states allow you to vote. You get your voting rights back now. You'll never be able to carry a gun unless you get an expungement. You know what I'm saying? Or a pardon or something like that. Not just a gun. Any sort of weapon that could be considered deadly. Nunchucks. Nunchucks are deadly weapons. I had some a long, long time ago. I ain't even know. You see what I'm saying? Jobs, they don't want to hire you. You try to go rent a place, they background check. Oh, you got a criminal record. I'm sorry, sir. So you got to move to try to find private owners or not such great places, even if you make the money. Life insurance. If you're on probation or parole, you cannot have life insurance. If you're on probation or parole, you cannot have life insurance. In Kentucky anyway. I don't know how it is everywhere else, but I know in Kentucky is how it is. So there's a lot of things that you can't do when you're on parole. Or when you have a criminal record, rather. You catch that case, first thing they gonna do, as I previously mentioned, Mr. Such and Such passed. Okay, but what about this charge right here? Y'all more so worried about my past than this charge right here. That's just what it is, man. So again, man, I'm praying for him. I'm sure you all praying for him. There's a whole lot of haters in the comments. And, some of the comments that they making, they have merit, Not saying that anybody should be hating, and you don't kick a person when they down, But a lot of people, man, is just looking at that situation like, look at the opportunity that you had and you just blew it, man. I'm out here struggling every day, man. And you on here asking people for money, and that's how they looking at it. I'm not looking at it that way, but those are the comments that I'm reading. But nevertheless, man, y'all let me know what y'all think about the video. Definitely feel free to like it, share it. I'm sure you'll comment, as I mentioned. That post notification, man. I'm a small channel, so anytime I bring you this heat and this action, guess what? You'll be the first to receive it. But that's only if you hit the post notifications, because if you don't, nobody know that I'm dropping a video. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to be able to grow. I'm trying to get big in the game, man. Pause. Real Kens TV, man. Free Jay Williams, man. Let's live life.